It's Nolan. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music and entertainment, breakdowns and commentary. Hey man, y'all know what's been going on for the past week. Everybody and their mama has been voicing their opinions about this whole Big Three debate, this battle. Unfortunately, everybody that was in J. Cole's corner, y'all seen that your king bowed out. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm just saying he bowed out. He took the high road. He said that this thing wasn't setting right with his spirit. He had to go get some help for his stomach, get some sleep aid, whatever it was. He went ahead on stage at Dreamville. We've talked about this already. You know what I'm saying? Not going to spend a lot of time harboring on that fact, but it must be noted to set the stage. Apparently, the last two standing are Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And word around on the internet is that these two are actually taking this very seriously. Word is coming around saying that both artists have hit the studio. They're not going for play. There is some records that are set to drop. We're going to get into all of that very shortly, right? But in the meantime, just about everybody was looking to hear from Joe Budden to see what he had to say, because he was already putting out very strong predictions about this Big Three battle royale, or whatever you wanted to call it. Just last week, he was saying he didn't feel like any of these guys were fully prepared for war. Everybody heard that J. Cole diss and felt like, well, I ain't gonna say everybody, because a lot of the Cole fans felt like it was adequate, felt like it was, you know what I mean? I knew what time it was. We already confirmed, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too deep into it, but I do want to go into what Joe Budden had to say about J. Cole's apology. And we're going to go into his assessment of what is coming henceforth, because he's getting insider news from people in the music industry that say they've heard one or the other, whether that be Kendrick or Drake. I wasn't really expecting Drake to really do much, because he doesn't move like that. He's not going to tell you his moves. He's not going to let you know where he's at mentally, or, you know what I'm saying? It would be a very select few people that would even have access to hear what he was working on. So it seems a little odd to me that people are now starting to get this information out there. But again, we'll get to that momentarily. Let's see what he had to say about J. Cole's apology and why I'm not surprised at all by what he's saying. We listened to Mal and Rory yesterday. Mal was definitely personally afflicted. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. He said he's gonna delete all of J. Cole's music from his playlist, from his his history. He said he's ripping down all the posters. I don't even think Mal had no goddamn posters of J. Cole, and said he is ashamed that he even wore the Dreamville J. Cole Pumas. He said he supported him that much, and now he's feeling the opposite. All right? So let's get to Joe Budden, because again, the entire industry was waiting to hear what he had to say, because he's normally very passionate. He's normally at the precipice of what's going on. A lot of people don't like Joe. It is what it is. But when he speaks, it does carry some weight, whether it be weight in terms of how it hits people. A lot of people tend to hit back when he has an opinion about them, because his opinion holds weight. So again, some people may say, why are you talking about this? Others understand.
Good news or bad news first?
Both.
Let's start with bad. Fuck.
Start with bad, yeah.
Well, which is going to be a longer diatribe.
Bad.
Good then.
Let's start with good.
Yeah, get the good. Get that out the way.
All right, the good news, I'm all for J. Cole's mental health being well. I said last pod, anybody that wants to bow out of this thing, please feel free to.
Facts.
Because this is not for the weak-hearted.
He did
It's
say
not. It comes with a lot more than 1,000 phone calls. Like, if you're not ready to move in a different capacity, if you're not ready to speak in a different capacity, like I said earlier, risk some relationships, if you're not ready to see niggas that you thought was friendly turn unfriendly, this is before you get to anybody laying a bar. Your lifestyle has to change. I know that. because I beefed with all of the people you're not supposed to beef with. I've done this with gang members. I've done this with the toughest of tough. I've done this with Burrows. I've done this with niggas that was lyrically ill, the best of the best. I've done this with the worst of the worst.
Execs.
Yeah, I've done this with execs. I beefed with my kid on wax. I've taken the hits, the threats, the punches, the lumps, and I'm still here to speak about it.
Yes, sir.
Never going away. It's like that fucking...
And I want to take a moment to just address exactly what Joe Budden's talking about. For people that aren't really familiar with his career, if you didn't really have spare time in like 2009 through 2013 to really know what Joe Budden had going on the internet, on the YouTube, on the interwebs, because a lot of people act like they weren't online when he was putting out music. I know he wasn't selling millions of records, but he definitely had a cult following, and he definitely was making headlines for his opinions even back then. He's not lying about the people that he beefed with. Number one, he went to war on wax with Def Jam while he was signed. Def Jam is still a valid label today. Artists are still selling their soul, selling their ass, selling whatever they can to get signed to this label. He actively, while on that label, was saying fuck y'all on songs. That in turn translated into him having a beef with Jay-Z. Now that stemmed back to when he put Pump It Up out, the song that everybody claims is his only record. He had that song bubbling. He actually wanted to get Jay-Z on the remix. There was talks. His management actually spoke to Jay-Z and his people. He said, yo, your boy can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? I think he wanted somewhere along the lines of $250,000 to get on the remix or something. They said, ain't no fucking way we could do that. You know, he's a brand new artist. You're going to kill his budget. We can't do it. He said, all right, well, if y'all ain't got it, I won't do it. Next thing you know, he jumps on the instrumental on his mixtape. He had a blackout mixtape with Reebok where he just hopped on a bunch of different beats and whatnot, and it was leading up to the Black Album. If you're not familiar with this stuff, you know, let me be your tour guide, because I was around. I was definitely huge on mixtapes in my days coming up. It was a dope tape. And on the song, he says, give me that beat, fool. It's a full-time Jack move. And in the song, he goes and starts calling Joe Budden all types of washed up NBA players, right? You ain't no athlete, you Sean Bradley. He called him J.R. Ryder, washed up on marijuana. Even worse, you a Purvis Ellis, you worthless fella. Like, just shitted on him all over the song. And only certain people knew that he was shitting on him. I don't know why, but Hove is slick like that. Like, you know, so for the next 5 years or so, Joe Budden just kept going at Hove. You know what I'm saying? Number one, he did the remix to his own Pump It Up where he started going at Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying, to finish the song. And they packaged it up as a 3-verse collaboration for mixtapes. So it's like, hey, you didn't give me the remix, I'm going to make it a remix, goddammit. Next thing you know, on his Mood Music tapes, they're riddled with disses, calling him old, saying he washed up. I don't understand why you old niggas still rapping. All this type of shit. Everybody knew exactly who he was talking about. So that's just to put it out there. He went at Jay-Z and Def Jam at the height, right? This is when Jay-Z was making everybody rethink their wardrobe. Niggas was turning in their throwback jerseys, trying to get button-ups, New York fitteds. Niggas was hanging up the Timbs, trying to get their S dots. Whoa. Who wore those? You know what I'm saying? Niggas was starting to wear blazers and jeans like the Usher fucking video, which was on the heels of Jay-Z switching the wardrobe up. So, yeah, he went at that guy. Furthermore, Joe Budden also had beef with Game, G-Unit, 50 Cent. A lot of y'all don't remember those times. This is the same era. He was going at all of these niggas within the same 3 or 4 year period. Like, the nigga just did not give no fucks. And when you listen to the actual songs that came out, if somebody actually had time to go listen to all the diss records that this nigga done dropped on people, he ain't never been no slouch. So you might say, oh, Joe Budden never sold no records. Oh, Joe Budden ain't never dropped a classic song. Oh, Joe Budden ain't got this or that. One thing he knows about is hip hop beef and diss records. This is the same nigga that will go on a song and diss your ass for 4 minutes, have extra bars, and they had to fade the shit out because it's like, bro, this shit too long. So please understand, you may not respect this nigga for nothing else. Please respect his pen and his craftsmanship when it come to dissing another nigga. That's all I'm saying. But that ain't even that's not even the last of the list, right? Win at Game, win at 50 Cent, win at Banks, right? Lloyd Banks, that is. Then he found himself entangled in a beef with Ransom. A lot of y'all don't know Ransom. I don't expect you to. But Ransom is actually on a second run in hip hop right now, doing very well for himself, putting out independent projects, selling records, doing tours, the whole shit. But back then, when they was in their situation, Ransom was having a rough time getting out of Jersey, right? And Joe Budden and Ransom actually they came into the industry pretty much together on the mixtape circuit under the tutelage of DJ Clue. At some point, things went sour, and they went back and forth. He dissed the fuck out of Ransom, got rid of him, packed him up easily. Next thing you know, he found himself in a beef with Saigon. Packed him up easily. When he said niggas that's supposed to be big diesel street thoroughs, Saigon, before getting into the rap game, he was a juvenile delinquent that ended up serving a lot of prison time. Just think of Mano. He was like a Mano type nigga. He got out of prison, became like a conscious rapper. Somewhere along the line, they found themselves entangled in a beef. He dissed the fuck out of that nigga and made him apologize and be like, damn, I'm good. Right? Then Joe found himself in a back and forth with Drake. Drake came into the industry all over Joe Budden talking about you're me. I look up to you. You're the GOAT. You're this, you're that. Somewhere along the lines, I think it had to do with some women because they used to smash a lot of the same women. They called themselves Eskimo brothers. These guys crossed paths and things went bad. Joe started releasing diss records on Drake. Drake made hint at some of it, but you really had to listen close. He never really gave him that much acknowledgement. This is why you've seen in recent years, Drake has been in different clubs and stuff and requested them to play Pump It Up in the venue and sent video to Joe Budden saying, oh, hey, we're playing your one hit in here, man. It's getting lit. All this different type of stuff. Again, if you're not paying attention, I'll be your tour guide. So this nigga done went at the biggest, the best, the worst, everything. He at one point he talked about Method Man. There was a greatest hip hop artist of all time list where Method Man was like in the top 20 and he wasn't understanding. He was like, yo, Method Man is dope, but you sure he's up that high? I would have him a few spaces back. When he said that, Wu-Tang got mad. Wu-Tang ended up putting hands and feet on him. Raekwon, all them folks, they ended up catching him backstage while they was out doing shows because they ended up having to do a show together at a stop, and they knocked his ass out. This nigga went live shortly thereafter with a stake on his eyelid. Doesn't mean he shut his mouth. It just means that's what he went through. So again, he's seen the good, bad, and the ugly of the beef. So when he told Cole, hey, or anybody, if you want to get out of this shit because you may not be prepared for what comes with it, this is somebody who has seen every angle of the circumstance, all right? Again, this is just for context. This is for conversation's sake, and I hope people walk away from this understanding what's going on because there's not a lot of commentators in this hip-hop space that actually have a thorough knowledge of anything that happened before, 2012-ish. That's where a lot of people became old enough to know about hip-hop, to understand hip-hop, to become fans of it. But there was definitely things going on that led up to where we are today. And a lot of those people are still here today in one way or another. They just rather not speak on it. Joe Budden, he's not going to give you the pleasure of shutting the fuck up because he ain't never done that from the jump. Okay?
Bug that just won't leave, just keep flying around. I'm still in. I did it. I did it. A lot of you niggas mad I did it too, but we'll get to that later.
Okay, what's the bad?
No, we're not done with the good.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh.
Okay.
Like, what a bold, mature move for hip hop, right? Very rarely do we see these types of mature moves. So I want to highlight that.
True.
Shit, we ain't seen it in pop music and rock music when they was beefing.
Yeah. Like, if it didn't sit right with his soul and his heart and his spirit, and if you wasn't up for the task, I'm not with the cosplaying.
Salute.
Cosplaying is over now. Be who the fuck you niggas are. So if that's who he is, which many people suspected that that's who he is, or who he was, which is why we thought he should stop barking up certain fucking trees because they may fall. And then when they fall, you get up there and do this at your festival with your fans and your people. That one move. Now I got to think of the position that you put everybody in. Because I'm hearing nobody even knew about that final track on your project. Not a soul. Top secret. That's interesting to me. Hov would have stopped that. Somebody with some knowledge would have told him not to do that.
Why do you think Hov could stop that?
Hov would have stopped it if he was able to stop it. If he spoke to Hov at any point before that happened, it wouldn't have happened.
What?
I feel like one of you guys up here said that sounded like a last minute addition.
it definitely
The
does.
rest of the album sounded like it had already been done, but that sounded like it was done within the last couple of weeks as a response. And then he says that.
I just meant, like, what have we seen in recent that shows that him and Hov got that relationship still?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not here
That's
to
all I meant.
debate that.
But
But
okay,
if
okay.
they did, if he spoke to him or anybody, that just wouldn't have happened that way. Especially if this was going to be your move not even 3 days later. Not even 3 days later. No. This is unacceptable.
That's why I don't like
This
it,
is unacceptable.
by the way.
This is totally unacceptable for me. And I told y'all dudes that when these niggas get out there on stage frolicking, acting like they bestest of buddies. These niggas get on these stages and say anything. There's way too many clips going around of him saying that same speech to Drake about him being the greatest that he says to Kendrick about him being the greatest. Where do you truly stand?
I think this record
Where
was
do you
he
truly
stood.
stand? I don't know. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I don't want to hear no more about that record.
I get you.
I don't want to hear no more about that record. I don't
think
want to talk
he
about it.
didn't wanna let
He
his
didn't
real
mean
thoughts
it.
out.
It sounded like he didn't mean it. His voice was trembling like he didn't mean it. His choice of words as one of the greatest lyricists says he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. I don't want to hear about that shit no more. Because oddly enough, what you did now is make the Like That record sound harder again for another fucking week.
You definitely did.
That verse.
Say what you want. These are the facts. And as a matter of fact, Like That is still #1 on the Hot 100 Billboard chart, which is actually, oddly enough, the longest time that Kendrick Lamar has even sat on the charts at the #1 position in his entire career. So it just lets you know, #1, Future and Metro Boomin were fucking geniuses for getting him on that song, because look at what that's done for them. I don't even think that record sits at the top without Kendrick. So let's start there. Then the fact that Kendrick took such, a lot of people say, oh, there weren't enough jabs in there, blah, 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 blah. He played his hand the right way. This is the same move that Drake played on Meek Mill with Back to Back, right? Where this is a song that you actually got to hear out in traffic. This is a song, the word is this song is getting played in clubs. They're playing it in barbershops. They playing it at the lounges, the hookah spots. They playing this motherfucker at McDonald's when you walk in. I'm playing. But it's circulating, and the numbers and the chart positioning and everything says that, to where now you can't, if you're a J. Cole, if you do anything around the music industry, you're surrounded with hearing this record. Even though you apologize, even though you bowed out, you got to know that this song is going to continue to live forever, busting your chops. Pause, no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? So shit gets critical at that point. It definitely makes the song sound even harder. And for the people that don't even know, that ain't hip hop like that, they just going off the fact that Future got a banger with Kendrick, and niggas the ladies out here in the you know what I'm saying, in the spots, in the goddamn strip clubs, is talking about fuck the big three, nigga, it's just Big Me. Like, they done found their own shit. Like, how many women out here is finna be putting their shit up talking about it's just Big Me in the caption with the sexy photos? That's when you know you done called a dub.
That y'all keep telling me Kendrick didn't do much on, every week that passes with y'all's new behavior, that song sounds harder.
A bazooka.
And now first person shooter sounds different.
They do.
This is real time art, how they changing perception out here, what these genius niggas are doing. I don't want to hear about that J. Cole record again. I don't. Not from nobody. And boy, you J. Cole fans in that community were hurtful. Boy, y'all were hurtful. I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of Earthstone Twitter.
And I only experienced a portion of it. The niggas tried to cover my head and say I didn't know about hip hop. They said I was a noob. I'm a try hard. Funny how time reveals.
Not a fucking peep. It is silent time. I enjoyed that part after y'all fucking bashed me. I enjoyed watching you tuck your fucking penises and shut the fuck up.
Sheesh. All right, so that was Joe Budden speaking on J. Cole's apology at Dreamville Fest and the 7-minute drill that is no longer drilling. No Diddy. Okay? So from there, and there's a windfall of things that came on the heels of J. Cole's apology. It's not just about Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar no more. Because when that diss record came out, we now see that there's some dissension between Dreamville, which is J. Cole's label, his crew, his community of people, and other artists that they actually had ties with, right? Now, if y'all can remember, a few years ago, Dreamville came out with this project called Revenge of the Dreamers 3. They had open sessions out here in Atlanta, and they sent out all these elaborate invitations to different artists, producers, songwriters, etc., saying you're cordially invited to come to the Dreamville sessions. From those sessions, they created the album. On this album, you see the Dreamville roster, you see J. Cole, but then you see a couple of names of people who were not actually signed to the label. Namely, you see artists like Reason, who's actually signed to TDE. You see an artist by the name of Guap Dad 4000, right? Some of y'all know him, some of y'all don't. Most recently, he had an issue with Baby Tate on Love and Hip Hop last season or a year ago. Some of y'all may have seen him on there. Some of y'all actually know his music. Some of y'all heard him on the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 project. Another artist in a similar position is Deontay Hitchcock. Deontay Hitchcock is actually from Atlanta. He's from my side of Atlanta. We went to the same schools, actually. And he ended up on the project, and he is actually a really dope artist, dope lyricist, dope writer as well. He's got a fan base as well. He hasn't like broken through the ceiling. None of these guys have, but they're still affiliated with Dreamville. And since they actually were on that project, their careers have taken different trajectory. You know what I'm saying? Just for being a part of that. And unfortunately, a couple of these guys came out and said some, I guess you could say questionable. I don't feel that they were questionable. They were just commenting on hip hop, commenting on the biggest story in hip hop. But unfortunately, those at Dreamville felt like there was a lack of loyalty and support coming from them. Okay. And I want to address this because guys over there at Dreamville are publicly making it known that they not feeling this shit. Okay. So at this moment, I'm going to pull up a couple of slides so y'all can see what's going on. Rapper Deontay Hitchcock came out and he said, "To Pimp a Butterfly, revisionist history is nasty work." If y'all can remember, J. Cole was saying your second album was boring, it put niggas to sleep, all this shit. He came out and said, I don't know about that, dog. To Pimp a Butterfly, revisionist history, that's nasty work. Like, niggas really loved that album. That was, people had mixed feelings about it, but once people actually sat with it, it became an iconic piece of art, right? He doubled down. He says, "I don't stand with that TPAB, To Pimp a Butterfly bar, but bruh cooking," saying, "Hey, I fuck with everything else you saying on that record, but we can't, it's no way that we can say anything about that," right? So that's Deontay Hitchcock. Then Guap Dad 4000, as I told y'all, he actually came out and had his own opinions, which again, these are only his opinions. It's only how he feels. It shouldn't be that important. But when it's wartime, you're looking for allies. You're looking for people to stand behind you. And I guess they felt like this shit was dishonorable. So Guap came out after the apology and said, Cole death just killed my spirit. But it's his happiness, not mine. It's selfish to think otherwise, but I'm just a fan at the end of the day. He also said, well, that just bummed me out. It's just rap, man. And he also said, I just got hella irritated. So he wasn't feeling that apology. He wasn't with that shit. He wanted to ride with Cole. And no, didn't go that way. He came back and said, if rap is not competitive, I don't want to do it anymore. So he came back the next day and was still thinking about it like, damn, if we can't be competitive in hip hop, if we can't even come to the stage and battle each other for the supremacy that we all talk about on a record, everybody calls themselves the best, but there's only certain people that make it to a certain stage where if somebody calls you out and says, you know what, I don't like that you say that. I want to be the best. I want it. Let's actually go up with it. Let's battle it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's see who's really better. It's only certain people that you're going to pay attention to when it comes to that. Right? J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake, they're at that status where it means something to the culture if they decide to go up. Unfortunately, things did not play out that way, but, you know, we still got the last two, which is sure to still be a show if they decide to engage the way that we know they could. So from there, we've got Boss. Now, Boss is signed to J. Cole's Dreamville. He's been with Dreamville since the beginning. He's got his own set of fans called the Fiends. You know what I'm saying? And apparently in the text thread among Dreamville folks, somebody said, I been told y'all niggas, we the only family we got. But niggas always want to let the kids from across the street swim in our pool until they take a shit in it. Boston comes out and says the pool's closed, right? So this is a direct shot at Deontay Hitchcock. This is also a direct shot at Guap Dad 4000 and anybody else who had anything negative to say about Cole, whatever his move was, whether it was when the diss record came out and you didn't jump behind it, you said, you know, I don't like this line here, this, that, X him out. Oh, he disappointed by the apology. You want to come out on the public platform and say that? When we helped your career, X him out. Then, to double down on that, we got Omen. Omen is actually also with Dreamville. He's been with J. Cole since the beginning. If you know about J. Cole's mixtape era and all of that type of stuff, you'll know Omen has been there from day one. Omen used to release his own music and mixtapes and decided to stop pursuing his own career for the betterment of J. Cole to become a part of his team, to help produce, to help whatever it is that he needed, right? So he comes out and says, watching all the opportunists that benefited from the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 stimulus package switch up is really entertaining. Keep that energy in person. So he's saying, y'all got that stimulus pack from Dreamville. Y'all niggas glowed up and found careers, got yourself booked on tours, got yourself interviewed on these publications that wasn't checking for none of y'all niggas. All of a sudden, y'all switching up on some Kendrick Lamar shit. Y'all niggas, what has Kendrick done for y'all? Right? We done took y'all on tours. We done collaborated with y'all beyond just putting out that project. Niggas done developed friendships. You know what I'm saying? Niggas probably done met each other's family and shit in different avenues. But y'all switching up because Kendrick Lamar put a diss record out? Bet. Keep that energy in person. It's over. Again, like Boss said, the pool is closed. Y'all can't come to the pool no more. The party is private now. We ain't got no more outsiders coming to the spot. Y'all niggas ruined it for everybody. You know, do I agree? I understand that they feel that way over there at Dreamville, but do I feel like they should take that stance? No, I don't. I feel like it's contradictory. If y'all gonna stand behind Cole on his apology, you gotta just allow whatever comes. Like, Cole knew exactly what he was doing when he made that apology. He knew what the response was gonna be among hip hop. Like, y'all niggas behind closed doors, I'm sure was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. We support you, but you sure? Like, that's how you want to play this? We riding. But, of course, you know, when it comes to that public statement, public solidarity thing, you know, I guess they felt they deserved at least that much respect, even though this is the biggest story in hip-hop. If you're a contributor in hip-hop in any form or fashion, niggas is talking about this shit. Niggas is going to be honest. You would expect people to be honest. I don't know if y'all wanted a call or a text ahead of time to say, hey, bro, I'm finna say this shit online. You know what I'm saying? I want to be loyal to y'all just out of respect and let you know I'm saying this. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no love lost between us, you, J. Cole, nothing. But this is how I see it. Maybe they wanted those remarks to come through in a text thread rather than somebody tweeting it out. But they feeling some type of way. Now, again, next up is the Drake and Kendrick Lamar showdown. That's what people are saying is coming. People are saying that they've heard records, actual recordings. The only thing that would stop this is if we get Jay Prince or somebody, you know, saying, nah, don't put that shit out. I would hope we don't get that, but it's possible. Anything is possible. Anything is in the realms of possibility today. We just got to be real about that part. You know what I'm saying? I think what we do know is Kendrick ain't going to bite his tongue. No matter what happens, Kendrick is going to talk about this shit in some form or fashion, whether it be good, bad, somewhere in the middle. He's going to speak on this shit in some music. I don't think his shots at Drake stop. I don't think he's ever stopped. The question is, what is Drake finna do? And they say Drake could be responding this Friday. I didn't expect him to jump in the ring. I didn't expect him to put his gloves on. I didn't expect this nigga to, you know what I'm saying, get in game shape in no form or fashion. I thought he was going to finish out his tour, act like none of this stuff was going on. But of course, he'll surprise you sometime. Here's what Joe and the team have to say about that.
So I'm going to tell you this. Get out the way. Whatever little rappy shit you thought was going on, it's not that. And something is coming. I think that J. Cole knows that from either Kendrick or Drake or both. And it was time to bow out because now we are no longer in the first round.
Main event time.
We are no longer in the first or second round of this thing. Kendrick has earned himself a bye with Cole's apology. But I think that the insiders know, actually, I have it on good information. I have it on good information that both sides went in the booth and came out.
They ready.
And what I'm hearing about both sides is that it's nuclear. It's up.
Nuclear.
I'm hearing this from people that can rap. So I want to come in here and say that speculation time is over. Debate time is over. I've been saying for a few pods now that I've seen absolutely nothing from Drake to get me excited enough to think that he will be capable of doing what needs to be done against the likes of a Kendrick Lamar. I'm here to say that there's no longer any need for me to instigate anything. We're here. And apparently,
Drake is
he
too.
did it. And people heard it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Only thing with Drake, man, they be coming out with these little stories and being, the same thing happened with Pusha T, right? Drake allegedly recorded the hardest diss track of all time, according to people in his camp. And we've never heard it. Talking about Jay Prince pulled the plug on the record, said that he couldn't. How the fuck could Jay Prince pull the plug on a record when he ain't even signed to that nigga? Don't nobody want to hear them fucking wolf tickets, bro. Like, Don't nobody ever think about Jay Prince and Drake having no form of relationship until that nigga decide he want to get in the booth and talk about somebody else and actually defend the crown that he's been trying to have since he came into the game. Then niggas want to bring him up and say, oh, yeah, you know, when you get in the playpen with pigs, you're going to get muddy. Okay. Sound like that what your boy wanted to do. So that's the only reason why I'm taking this with a grain of salt, because we've seen this play before. We've seen this happen before. It wasn't that long ago when that took place. So I will believe it when I see it. I already know the type nigga Kendrick Lamar is, because he was very direct with any and everyone that decided to take shots with him. I've already laid out the niggas that he went at. I've already laid out the niggas that came back and apologized after he said what the fuck he had to say or whatever. Apologized for anything, for making him feel slighted in any way in this industry. Right? So we already know his gun is cocked, loaded, and ready for anybody willing to cross the gun line. The question is Drake gonna make good on these claims, or are we just getting hyped up for another battle that's never gonna happen? This might be my last video talking about this shit. If I don't hear some jabs, if I don't hear something that's quote unquote nuclear, as they calling it, I'm done. I'm not gonna keep wasting time, energy, breath, racking my memories, saving shit across the internet to make sure what I'm saying is correct. I'm not gonna keep doing it. If niggas is going Russian with it, if niggas is going Putin with this shit, if they getting the computers Putin out this bitch, I'll come back and I'll talk about it. But if I'm hearing love taps, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna come back and talk about that shit too. I'm gonna roast your motherfucking ass. If it's any love taps, any form of bromance on that motherfucking song, if it's any cop and please, I wasn't trying to do this to you, but I gotta do it, I'm gonna roast your ass. I'm gonna put your ass on the motherfucking the turkey rack. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you on the rotisserie rack. And we gonna roast you. But if it's anything less than that, if you don't show up, if you come out with a new record and it's just one little, yeah, dog, it's over with. It's no. The people are tired. The people are ready for something else. It's a new week. We about to go into yet another week very soon. The people gonna be looking like what else is going on. So that's where we stand on this whole thing. The big three has now been reduced down to a big two. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are the last men standing. Let's see if they actually duke it out, Dukes of Hazzard style, you know what I'm saying? Let's see if they actually willing to fight for that championship title. Whoever's done standing at the end, get that belt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all want to try to make it a ladders, tables, and chairs TLC match on some Devon Dudley shit. On some Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys, trying to get that motherfucking belt from the top. Those, if you know, you know. Oh, man. But that's all I got for y'all at this moment. Please stay tuned. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates. Y'all know we're going to have more content coming out shortly, man. We got to still get into this whole Azalea Banks and Dolce thing. That's what's coming up next. We're going to address that head on. We're going to get into the history of all that, how we even got here, because this was not no flipping over the night thing. I'm going to have that coming for y'all very soon. Stay tuned. Stay locked. Don't go nowhere, man. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace!
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, so straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.